We've all been fooled. What you've been watching for years isn't the real Brazilian national team. It's the biggest commercial scam in football history. How can a country with the most expensive players, the rawest talents on the planet, and a terrifying history suddenly become a mediocre team that any organized club can easily beat? If you think the problem is just a bad coach or a spoiled generation, you're only scratching the surface. The truth is far deeper and, honestly, far more dangerous. An entire system decided to end the Brazilian magic and turn it into just a commercial commodity. Today, we are not looking at tactics and formations. We are investigating a fully fledged crime to see together how the country that taught the world football completely forgot how to play it. From art to the stock market. To understand the crisis, we need to look away from the pitch and straight at the bank accounts, because football in Brazil has undergone a terrifying transformation. It went from being a cultural heritage and folk art to literally becoming the country's most important export commodity, right alongside Brazilian coffee. Historically, Brazilian clubs were schools that produced legends like Santos, Sao Paulo, and Flamengo. But today, these clubs have turned into brokerage firms. Their sole function is to discover the raw material, the player, polish him up quickly, and sell him to the European customer who pays in hard currency. This isn't even about greed anymore. It's about survival. If a Brazilian club doesn't sell its star player while he's still practically a child, the club will go bankrupt and won't be able to pay its bills or employee salaries. We've reached a point where entire club budgets depend on selling one or two kids each season, distorting the DNA. This business model completely broke the mentality of the players and their families. In the past, a Brazilian child dreamed of wearing the iconic yellow jersey and lifting the World Cup. Now, that dream has shifted 180 degrees due to economic pressure. A talented child in a poor neighborhood is no longer just a kid playing a game. He is his family's lottery ticket out of poverty. From the age of 10, parents and agents drill it into his mind that the goal isn't enjoyment. It's a European contract. Football is no longer a means of self-expression. It's become a tool for rapid social climbing. This has created a generation of pragmatic players who think like employees wanting to secure their financial future, not like artists chasing footballing immortality. To ensure this merchandise sells to Europe at a premium, it must conform to European quality standards. European clubs don't want a capricious, unpredictable player. They want a tactically disciplined, physically dominant athlete who follows instructions blindly. To secure the sale, Brazilian clubs changed their youth training methods. Instead of producing a new Neymar, they are mass-producing robotic, fighting players who can run 12 kilometers a match, but can't complete 2 consecutive dribbles. Brazil altered its footballing DNA just to satisfy the market. The academic crime. Think about this. Brazil, the country that literally taught the world how full-backs should play, the birthplace of Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Marcelo, and Dani Alves, is now suffering from a terrifying drought in those positions. Because academies and agents convince any fast kid to play as a winger to fetch a $100 million price tag, nobody wants to be a defender anymore. The real factory for stars used to be the street. The street wasn't just a pitch. It was a brutal, unpredictable laboratory. There were no referees, no coaches yelling where to pass, and the ground was mud, sand, or concrete. A 10-year-old had to play against 16-year-old monsters. The only way for that child to survive was to use his brain, to invent cunning, to learn how to hide the ball, to dance in tight spaces, and to deceive with body feints. Ronaldo, Romario, Ronaldinho, and Rivaldo weren't products of standard training programs. They were forged by the freedom of the street. But today, due to rising crime rates and urban development, the street is dead. The alternative became glamorous academies, and that's where the artistic crime happens. The child is taken from a free environment and confined within 4 walls, perfect artificial turf, and a coach holding a whistle and a European manual. The coach doesn't want him to showcase skills. He wants one-touch passing and rigid positioning. It produces a skilled robot, but it completely kills improvisation. It kills that moment of genius when a player tears up the script to create magic. psychological fragility, and on-field collapses. This transition from a tough street kid to a pampered academy boy didn't just hurt their skills. It created a crack in their character. It produced a psychologically fragile generation unable to handle immense pressure. Recall the 2022 World Cup quarterfinal against Croatia. The moment that sums it all up isn't the penalty shootout. It's the 116th minute. You are winning 1-0 in extra time. There are 4 minutes left to reach a World Cup semi-final against an aging, exhausted Croatian team, and yet Brazil is naively committed almost everyone forward on an attack. A single counterattack exposed the mental deficiency of the entire team. They didn't just concede, they mentally disconnected right then and there. You could see the panic in their eyes before the penalty shootout even began. This exact same naivety cost them the 2021 Copa America in their own backyard against Argentina, and repeated itself against Uruguay. They play beautiful football when things go smoothly, but the second the ship rocks, there is no captain to take the helm. There is no situational intelligence to tell them when to slow the game down. The corporate traveling circus. The chaos you see on the pitch is a direct reflection of the chaos happening in the air-conditioned boardrooms. For years, Brazil has suffered from a severe technical disconnect, a gap between European-trained players and local coaches who are still living in the nostalgia of the past. We saw the tactical collapse with experiments like Fernando Diniz, whose rigid short passing philosophy crowded world-class wingers like Vinicius Jr. and Rodrygo into tight spaces where they literally suffocated, leading to historic losses against Argentina and Uruguay. But the coaches are not the root of the problem. Let's open Pandora's box. The Brazilian Football Confederation, CBF. This entity transformed from a sports organization into a corporate machine where bank accounts matter more than trophies. To understand how deep the rot goes, the last 3 CBF presidents left in absolute disgrace. 1 arrested in Switzerland, 1 banned from traveling, and a 3rd removed by court order. This federation turned the national team into a traveling circus known as the Brazil Global Tour. Massive sponsorship deals forced the team to fly across the globe to play meaningless friendlies against weak opposition just to collect million-dollar checks. These matches are technically worthless and designed mostly for sponsors to shoot commercials. There have even been widespread reports in Brazilian media that major sponsors heavily influence player selection for marketing purposes, forcing certain stars to start even if they are unfit or out of form. It has created an environment of total apathy, where winning championships is secondary to selling shirts. A search for identity. Ultimately, the story of Brazil isn't just about a football team trying to win trophies again. It's about an identity that got lost in the corporate world, trying to find its way back home. That is why all of us, whether we support them or not, secretly want to see that iconic yellow jersey shine brightly again. The current generation, powered by incredible raw talents like Vinicius Jr., Rodrygo, and explosive young prodigies like Estêvão, are trying to bring back this Samba, but this time with a modern twist. This is their ultimate test to save what can be salvaged and prove that the beautiful game cannot be entirely manufactured in a factory.